Maya Chen had been on Kepler 442b for exactly 3 weeks when everything changed. The planet was beautiful in a dangerous way, with trees that stretched so high she couldn't see their tops and a purple sky that made her feel like she was dreaming. But she wasn't dreaming. She was a real soldier now, even if her squad didn't quite believe it yet. She checked her rifle for the 4th time that hour. Commander Vrextal, her squad leader, made a clicking sound with his throat. It was how his species showed annoyance. Maya had learned that in training, along with 100 other things about working with aliens. "Human Chen, stop fidgeting," Vrextal said. His voice came through her helmet translator as a deep rumble. "You make the whole unit nervous." "Sorry, sir." Maya lowered her weapon and tried to walk more quietly. The 2 Keltorian scouts ahead of her moved like shadows through the forest. They had 6 legs and eyes on the sides of their heads. They never made a sound. Behind her, Thasian medic Klesh hummed softly. His species did that when they were happy. At least someone was relaxed. They had been walking for 6 hours, checking the southern perimeter of the colony. It was boring work, but Maya didn't mind. Everything on an alien planet was exciting, even the boring parts. She had dreamed of this since she was 10 years old, watching the first human ships leave for the stars. One of the Keltorian scouts suddenly froze. His name was Pip, and Maya had started to like him. He made jokes sometimes, which was rare for his species. "Commander," Pip whispered. "Tracks fresh, the whole squad stopped." Maya felt her heart speed up. She moved closer to see what Pip had found. The tracks were huge. Each print was as big as her chest, with 6 distinct claw marks. The ground was torn up and several small trees had been knocked down. "Shadestalker," Commander Vrextal said quietly. His hand moved to his weapon. Perhaps 2 hours old. Maya had heard about Shadestalkers in the briefings. They were the apex predators of Kepler 442b. 3 meters tall, 6 legs, teeth like daggers, and skin that could change color to match any background. They had killed 17 colonists in the last 3 months. The colony wanted them all dead. "We should call for extraction," Kalesh said. His humming had stopped. "Agreed," Vrextal said. He activated his comm unit. "Base, this is Recon 4. We have fresh stalker sign at coordinates." The ground beneath Maya's feet made a sound like breaking glass. She felt herself falling before her brain could process what was happening. The world spun. Dirt and roots rushed past her face, and then everything went dark. She woke up in pain. Her left leg felt like it was on fire, and she couldn't see anything. Maya forced herself to breathe slowly. Panicking would kill her faster than any injury. She activated the light on her helmet. She was in some kind of cave or sinkhole, maybe 10 meters down. Her leg was twisted at a bad angle, and blood was soaking through her uniform. Above her, she could see the hole she had fallen through, but the edges looked unstable. "Commander," she shouted.
"I'm alive."
"I'm in a sinkhole," Static answered her. Her comm unit must have broken in the fall. Maya tried to move and gasped at the pain. Her leg was definitely broken. She reached for her medical kit with shaking hands. She had painkillers and a bone stabilizer, but she would need help to get out. Then she heard it. A soft clicking sound coming from the darkness beyond her light. Maya froze. She knew that sound from the training videos. It was a Shadestalker. She grabbed her rifle, but when she tried to aim, her hands were shaking too badly. The clicking got closer. She could see movement now, something large shifting in the shadows. "Come on then," Maya whispered. "Make it quick." The creature stepped into her light, and Maya's breath caught. It was a Shadestalker, but smaller than the adults in the videos. Maybe half the size, and it was hurt. One of its 6 legs was bent wrong, and there was a deep gash along its side. The creature's skin flickered between colors, unable to hold its camouflage. The stalker made a sound that was almost like a whimper. It was looking at her, but not with the cold hunter's stare she expected. Its eyes looked scared. Maya lowered her rifle slowly. This was insane. This was against every rule in the book. But looking at the young stalker, all she could see was a hurt animal. "Hey," she said softly. "You're hurt too, huh?" The stalker tilted its head. It took a small step closer. Maya noticed the problem. A large piece of timber had fallen across the stalker's back legs, pinning it. The creature had probably been trapped for hours, maybe days. "Okay," Maya said, talking more to herself than the creature. "This is crazy. But we're both stuck down here and we're both hurt. Maybe we can help each other." She dragged herself toward the timber, biting back screams of pain. Her broken leg left a trail of blood. The stalker watched her but didn't move. When she reached the timber, Maya used her rifle as a lever. She counted to 3 and pushed with all her strength. The timber shifted. The stalker pulled its legs free and stumbled backward. For a moment, they just looked at each other. Maya waited to die. The stalker could kill her easily now. Instead, the creature made a soft chirping sound. It moved closer, sniffing at her with a mouthful of teeth. Maya held perfectly still. The stalker touched its nose to her broken leg. Then something amazing happened. The gash on the stalker's side began to glow with a soft blue light. The creature made a thick paste from the glowing secretion and spread it carefully over Maya's wound. The pain disappeared almost instantly. Maya stared in shock as her leg stopped bleeding. The substance was some kind of natural medicine. "Thank you," she whispered. The stalker curled up next to her, its body warm against the cold cave floor. It made a rumbling sound that reminded Maya of a cat purring. She must have passed out because the next thing she knew, there were voices above her and light shining down. Her squad had found her. "Chen, are you alive?" Commander Vrextal called down. "Yes, sir," Maya called back. "But I'm not alone." "Weapons ready," she heard Vrextal order. "There's a stalker down there." "No," Maya shouted. "Don't shoot." It helped me. The rescue took an hour. When they finally pulled her up, the stalker came with her, refusing to leave her side. The creature hissed and showed its teeth whenever anyone else got too close. Commander Vrextal stared at the scene with all 4 of his eyes wide. "What have you done, human Chen?" Maya looked at the stalker, who was pressed against her side like a giant, deadly dog. "I don't know, sir. I really don't know." But as they made their way back to base, with the stalker following Maya like a shadow, she realized something important. She had just made first contact in a way no one expected. Not with weapons or words, but with simple kindness. The galaxy was about to learn something new about humans. And Maya Chen, just a recruit, was at the center of it all. The medical bay was too bright and smelled like chemicals. Maya sat on the examination table while Dr. Yelnoth scanned her leg for the 3rd time. The Thasian doctor kept humming in confusion, which made Maya nervous. "The bone is completely healed," Yelnoth said. "Impossible for human physiology. You fell yesterday. This should take weeks." "It was the stalker's secretion," Maya explained again. "It put something on my leg that glowed blue." Through the window, she could see into the containment room next door. The stalker was there, pacing back and forth. Every few minutes it would press against the glass and make a high-pitched crying sound. "Subject shows extreme distress when separated from human Chen," a scientist spoke into a recorder. "Refusing all food. Attempting to break containment every 4.3 minutes. Maya felt her chest tighten. "Can I see him?" "Him?" Commander Vrextal said from the doorway. "You have named it?" "Apex," Maya said. "And he's scared. He doesn't understand why we're separated." Vrextal's scales shifted to a darker color, which meant he was angry. "It is a shade stalker, Chen. An apex predator. 17 colonists are dead because of its kind. The Science Council has ordered it terminated at dawn." "No." Maya stood up too fast and almost fell.
"He saved my life."
"You saved its life first," Vrextal corrected. "This does not create a bond. It creates a debt at most. The creature will leave or attack eventually. This is nature." But Maya wasn't listening. She was watching Apex through the window. The stalker had stopped pacing and was staring directly at her. His skin was flickering through colors rapidly, like he was trying to communicate. "Permission to enter the containment room, sir," Maya said. "Denied," Vrextal said flatly. Maya looked at her commander. "Sir, with respect, I'm going in there whether you give permission or not." Vrextal made a sound like rocks grinding together. His species' version of a sigh. "You humans are all insane, very well. But I am keeping weapons trained on that creature." The containment room door opened with a hiss. Apex immediately rushed to Maya, nearly knocking her over. He was bigger than yesterday, Maya realized with shock. He had grown at least 30 centimeters. Apex pressed his head against her chest and made a sound between a purr and a chirp. His 6 legs wrapped around her carefully like he was afraid of hurting her. "It's okay," Maya whispered, running her hands over his scales. "I'm here. I'm okay." Behind the observation glass, she could see dozens of aliens staring. Scientists, soldiers, colony administrators. They all looked confused or frightened. One human technician, an older man named Roberts, was smiling. Dr. Yelnoth entered the room cautiously. "May I approach, human Chen?" Maya nodded. Apex tensed and let out a low growl. Easy, Maya said, scratching behind what she thought might be his ears. He's a friend. Friend, okay? Apex relaxed slightly but kept his eyes on Yelnoth. The doctor scanned Apex with a handheld device. Remarkable. His hormone levels are similar to what we see in bonded pack animals on other worlds, but shadestalkers are not pack hunters. They are solitary. Maybe we're wrong about them, Maya suggested. Over the next week, Maya spent every free hour with Apex. She fed him, played with him, and taught him simple commands. He learned incredibly fast: sit, stay, come, and even wait. The scientists were amazed. But strange things were happening at the colony perimeter. More shadestalkers were appearing. They didn't attack the fences or the guards. They just watched. 12 adults at last count, sitting at the tree line like they were waiting for something. They are pack hunters, Dr. Estrin said during a briefing. She was a Vrexian xenobiologist who had arrived from the homeworld to study Apex. We were wrong. Shadestalkers are highly social, but they only reveal this behavior to their pack. So why are they watching us? Commander Vrextal asked. Dr. Estrin looked at Maya. Because human Chen has been adopted into the pack. They are waiting to see what she does. The room fell silent. That's impossible, a Keltorian administrator said. Cross-species pack bonding does not work like that. It does with humans, Roberts spoke up. He was the only other human in the room. We've been doing it for thousands of years on Earth: dogs, cats, horses, birds, even fish. If it breathes and shows basic trust behaviors, humans will try to befriend it. This is not a pet, Vrextal snapped. This is an apex predator. So were wolves, Roberts said calmly. Now they sleep in our beds and eat from our hands. We call them dogs. Maya felt all eyes turn to her. She cleared her throat. I didn't mean for this to happen, sirs. I just helped a scared animal. But now that it has happened, maybe we can learn from it. Maybe we don't have to kill them all. The colony budget includes eradication of shadestalkers, the Keltorian administrator said. This has been approved by the council. Then unapprove it, Maya said, surprising herself with her boldness. Give me a chance to show that coexistence is possible. The meeting ended with no decision. Maya returned to her quarters feeling frustrated. Apex followed her. They had given up trying to keep him contained. He could break through any barrier if he wanted to. That night, Maya couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the stalkers at the perimeter, about the death orders, about everything going wrong. Apex was curled up at the foot of her bed, too large for the space, but refusing to leave. His breathing was steady and calm. I don't know what to do, Maya whispered to him. How do I save you? How do I save all of them? Apex opened one eye and made a soft sound. Then he stood up and moved to the door, looking back at her. You want to go out? Maya asked. Apex pawed at the door. Maya knew this was against regulations. She also knew that regulations were about to get Apex killed. She made a decision. She opened the door. Apex led her through the colony, moving like a shadow. Maya followed, her heart pounding. They reached the southern gate. The guards were Keltorian and they saw her coming. Specialist Chen, you cannot leave the colony at night, one guard said. I'm not leaving, Maya said. I'm going to talk to them. Talk to who? Maya pointed to the tree line. A dozen pairs of eyes reflected the colony lights. The stalker pack, that is suicide, the guard said. Maybe, Maya agreed. Or maybe it's first contact. She walked through the gate before anyone could stop her. Apex stayed close to her side. The ground between the colony and the forest felt like it stretched for miles. The pack didn't move as she approached. They sat in a semicircle watching. They were enormous, each one twice the size of Apex. Their scales reflected the moonlight in patterns Maya couldn't begin to understand. She stopped 3 meters away and sat down on the ground. Apex sat next to her. Hello, Maya said quietly. I'm Maya. This is Apex. I think he's one of you. The largest stalker, a female with scars across her face, stood up. She walked forward slowly. Maya forced herself not to run. The female sniffed Maya carefully. Then she touched her nose to Apex, who chirped happily. Finally, she turned her attention back to Maya. The female stalker sat down directly in front of Maya. She was so close that Maya could feel her breath. Then the stalker reached out one massive paw and placed it gently on Maya's shoulder. Maya understood. It was a gesture of acceptance. Behind her, she heard shouts from the colony. Weapons were being powered up. They thought she was being attacked. No, Maya shouted back. Hold your fire. They're not hostile. She turned back to the female stalker. We got off to a bad start. Your kind and my kind. But maybe we can fix that. Maybe we can live together. The stalker made a sound like wind through trees. The rest of the pack stood and moved closer, forming a circle around Maya. She was surrounded by apex predators, any one of which could kill her in seconds. Instead, they lay down around her. One by one, they settled into the grass, their eyes half closed. Maya realized what this was. It was a pack at rest. They were showing her they meant no harm. She stayed there until dawn, surrounded by shade stalkers with apex pressed against her side. When the sun rose, the pack stood and melted back into the forest. But the message was clear. Humans were no longer just colonists. They were pack. The supply run should have been simple. Maya and 2 other soldiers were supposed to pick up equipment from the landing pad and bring it back to the colony. It was basic work, the kind of thing rookies did. Maya should have known something was wrong when the transport was late. She should have noticed the unfamiliar markings on the ship's hull, but she was distracted, watching Apex play with a piece of rope near the tree line. The first dart hit her in the neck before she could react. The second hit Private Korax, the Keltorian guard beside her. Maya felt her legs give out and the world started spinning. "Get the human," a voice said in rough galactic common. "Leave the others." Strong hands grabbed her. Maya tried to fight, but her body wouldn't respond. The paralysis drug was fast and effective. She could only watch as she was dragged toward the unmarked ship. Then she heard it. A roar that made her blood run cold. Apex had seen her fall. The stalker charged across the landing pad, moving faster than anything that large should be able to move. The mercenaries opened fire, but Apex's scales shifted to a reflective pattern, deflecting most of the energy blasts. One shot hit him in the shoulder. Apex screamed in pain but didn't stop. "Get her in the ship!" Someone shouted, "Now!" Maya tried to call out to Apex to tell him to run, but her mouth wouldn't work. They were dragging her up the ship's ramp. Apex was 20 meters away, 15, 10. The ramp started to close. Apex leaped, his claws scraping against the metal, but he was too late. The last thing Maya saw before the door sealed was Apex's face, his mouth open in a cry she couldn't hear. Then the ship lifted off, and everything went black. When Maya woke up, she was in a cage. The bars were thick metal and her hands were bound. Her head pounded from the drugs. She could hear voices arguing in a language she didn't understand. "Is the translation working?" she called out. The voices stopped. A moment later, a Keltorian male appeared in front of her cage. He wore armor that had been painted over to hide identification marks. "Ah, the human is awake," he said. "Good. You will bring us much profit. Who are you?" Maya demanded. "Why did you take me?" "We are business people," the Keltorian said with what might have been a smile. "You and your pet are valuable. Fighting rings across 3 sectors will pay well for a human with a tamed shade stalker." Maya's blood went cold. "I'm a coalition soldier. Taking me is an act of war, is it?" The Keltorian tilted his head. "Who will care about one human recruit? Your species is barely 3% of the coalition force. You are expendable." He walked away laughing. Maya slumped against the cage bars. She had been so stupid. The colony had enemies, she knew that. There were species in the coalition who didn't want humans to succeed, who saw them as upstarts and invaders, but she couldn't think about politics now. She had to think about survival and about Apex. Was he hurt? Was he looking for her? Maya closed her eyes and tried to remember her training. Stay calm, look for opportunities. Don't give up. 3 days passed. The mercenaries kept her drugged enough that she couldn't fight but awake enough that she didn't need medical care. They were professionals. This wasn't their first kidnapping. On the 4th day, something changed. The ship suddenly shook, hard enough that Maya was thrown against the cage bars. Alarms started blaring. What was that? Someone shouted in the distance. Something hit the ship. We're still in atmosphere. Nothing should be able to... Another impact. Louder this time. The lights flickered. Maya heard screaming. The sound of weapons fire, and then, cutting through everything else, a roar that she recognized instantly. Apex. How did that thing track us? A mercenary yelled. We're 40 kilometers from the colony. It's not alone, another voice cried. There are dozens of them. The ship lurched and started to descend rapidly. They were crashing. Maya braced herself against the cage as the ship hit the ground hard. Metal groaned and tore. Emergency lights flickered on, then silence. Maya waited, her heart hammering. The cage door had been damaged in the crash. She pulled at it with her bound hands and felt it give. With effort, she managed to squeeze through. The ship's corridor was a mess. Light sparked from broken panels and smoke filled the air. Maya stumbled toward the exit, her legs weak from days of being drugged. She found the first body near the cargo bay, a mercenary torn apart. She looked away quickly and kept moving. The cargo bay door was ripped open from the outside. Maya stepped through and into chaos. The ship had crashed in a small clearing. All around it, shadestalkers moved through the trees. Not just Apex's pack. There had to be 30 of them, maybe more. They had coordinated an attack on a moving ship. The mercenaries who had survived the crash were barricaded behind cargo containers, firing desperately at the stalkers. The creatures were using tactics Maya had never seen, some distracted from the front, while others flanked from the sides. They were hunting together like wolves. Maya. She turned to see Commander Vrextal and her squad taking cover near a damaged transport. They had followed the mercenaries somehow, but before Maya could move toward them, Apex appeared. He was bleeding from multiple wounds favoring his left side, but his eyes were bright and focused. When he saw Maya, he made a sound that was pure joy. Maya ran to him, tears streaming down her face. "You found me. You actually found me." Apex pressed his head against her chest, his whole body trembling. Behind him, the female pack leader from that night at the colony emerged from the trees. She had brought the entire pack to rescue Maya. "Chen," Vrextal called. "We need to secure the area." Maya looked at the barricaded mercenaries, then at Apex, then at the pack surrounding them. She had an idea. It was crazy, but everything about the last month had been crazy. She walked toward the mercenaries' position. Apex and 12 adult stalkers walked with her, forming a protective circle around her. "Stop firing," Maya shouted. To her surprise, the weapons fell silent. The mercenaries stared at the approaching stalkers with terror. "You took me because you thought you could profit from me," Maya said, her voice steady. "You thought I was alone and weak. You were wrong on both counts." The pack leader stepped forward and roared. It wasn't a hunting cry. It was a warning. The sound echoed across the clearing and Maya felt it in her bones. "This is what happens when you threaten the pack," Maya continued. "Human or stalker, it doesn't matter. We protect our own." The lead mercenary, the Keltorian from before, dropped his weapon. His whole body was shaking. "Please, we surrender," Maya nodded. "Smart choice." An hour later, the mercenaries were in custody, and coalition security ships were landing in the clearing. Maya sat on a fallen log while a medic checked her for injuries. Apex lay next to her, finally resting. Dr. Estrin approached, her scanning devices clicking and beeping. "Remarkable," she said. "Simply remarkable." "What is?" Maya asked tiredly. "The stalkers tracked you for 42 kilometers through dense forest. They maintained cohesion as a hunting pack, despite being from separate territorial groups. And they attacked a moving target in the air. This contradicts everything we knew about them." "Maybe we didn't know them at all," Maya said. Essetrin looked at the stalkers who were resting in groups around the clearing. They showed no signs of leaving. "You have done something unprecedented, Human Chen. You have bridged a gap between species that we thought impossible." "I just helped an injured animal," Maya said. "Apex did the rest." "No," Estrin said firmly. "Apex responded to what you are. Shadestalkers are empathic hunters. They bond with pack leaders who show strength through compassion, who protect through trust rather than fear. Your species does this naturally. You literally cannot help it." Maya looked at Apex, who opened one eye and made a contented sound. "Is that a good thing or a bad thing?" "That depends on who you ask," Essetrin said. "But the galaxy is about to find out that humans do not make enemies easily. You make family instead, and that might be the most terrifying thing of all." As the sun set over the clearing, Maya sat surrounded by creatures that should have been her death. Instead, they were her protectors, her pack, her family, and somewhere in the Coalition command, people were starting to realize that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their tactics. It was their hearts. 2 months after the rescue, Maya stood at the edge of the colony's new agricultural dome and watched the sun rise. Apex sat beside her, now fully grown and covered in scars from the mercenary fight. Behind them, 3 other humans worked with their own bonded stalkers, preparing for the day's patrol. The colony had changed. Humans and stalkers now worked together on perimeter security. The killing orders had been canceled. Dr. Esitrin's research proved that the stalkers had only attacked colonists because the colony had been built on their breeding grounds. Once that was understood and respected, the attack stopped. It should have been perfect, but Maya felt uneasy. "Something's wrong," she said to Roberts, who had bonded with a smaller male stalker he called Scout. Roberts nodded. "The pack has been nervous for 3 days. Scout won't settle at night." Before Maya could respond, alarms blared across the colony. She ran toward the command center, Apex keeping pace beside her. Commander Vrextal was in the operations room watching multiple screens. "We have a problem. A second pack of shade stalkers has entered the territory. They are heading directly for the agricultural dome." Maya looked at the screen. At least 20 stalkers were moving through the forest in coordinated formation. These weren't the pack she knew. Their scales were darker and they moved with aggressive purpose. "Why are they coming here?" Maya asked. "Territory dispute," Dr. Estrin said, pulling up biological data. "Your pack has changed their behavior patterns since bonding with humans. They spend less time hunting, more time near the colony. The southern pack sees this as weakness." Apex growled low in his throat. Through the window, Maya could see her pack gathering near the dome. The female pack leader, whom Maya had started calling Scar, was organizing the others into defensive positions. "They are going to fight," Vrextal said, "and our dome is in the middle of it." "No," Maya said firmly. "There has to be another way. Specialist Chen, this is nature. We cannot interfere with pack dynamics." Maya looked at Apex, who met her eyes. She could feel his tension, his readiness to fight. But she also felt something else. Trust. He was waiting for her to decide. "Yes, we can interfere," Maya said. "We're part of the pack now. That means we have a say." She ran outside before anyone could stop her. Apex and the other bonded stalkers followed with their humans. They reached the dome just as the southern pack emerged from the tree line. The southern pack's alpha was massive, a male with scales that seemed to absorb light. His pack spread out behind him, showing teeth and claws. Scar's pack responded in kind, lowering into attack positions. Maya walked between them. "Chen, what are you doing?" Roberts called out. "Something stupid," Maya answered. "Or something smart. Haven't decided yet." The southern alpha focused on her. His eyes were intelligent and calculating. He took a step forward, and Apex immediately moved to block him, snarling. "Easy," Maya told Apex. "Let me try." She had learned a lot about stalker body language in the past 2 months. Aggressive posture meant raised front limbs and exposed teeth. Defensive posture meant low center of gravity and protected neck. Submissive posture meant lowered head and exposed throat. Maya lowered herself to the ground and tilted her head back, exposing her throat. Behind her, she heard gasps from the colony walls. Submitting to an apex predator was suicide. Everyone knew that. Except Maya had learned that stalker packs didn't work on dominance alone. They worked on trust and demonstrated value. The alpha protected the pack, but the pack chose the alpha. It was a balance. The southern alpha approached slowly. He sniffed Maya carefully, his breath hot on her face. His teeth were centimeters from her throat. One bite would kill her instantly. Then Maya did something that made every alien watching think she had lost her mind. She reached into her supply pack and pulled out a ration bar. It wasn't meat, but it was food. She broke it in half and offered one piece to the southern alpha. "We're not your enemies," Maya said quietly. "We're not trying to take your territory. We just want to live here too, with all of you." The alpha sniffed the food. His pack watched intently. This was clearly a decision point. The alpha took the food from Maya's hand gently. He ate it, considering. Then he made a sound that was neither aggressive nor submissive. It was questioning, Maya understood. He wanted to know what she offered beyond food. "Safety," Maya said. "The colony has medicine, shelter from storms, and protection from threats outside this world. We share that with Scar's pack. We can share it with yours too." She pulled out her med kit and showed him the supplies. Then she pointed to Apex's healed wounds, to Scar's scars that had been treated by colony doctors. The southern alpha looked at his own pack. Several had injuries. One female limped on a damaged leg. This was the calculation. Was pride worth more than pack welfare? Scar stepped forward then, approaching the southern alpha carefully. She made a series of sounds that Maya had learned meant safe and pack. She was vouching for the humans. The standoff lasted for minutes that felt like hours. Both packs were tense, ready to explode into violence. The humans on the walls had weapons ready. One wrong move would start a war. The Southern Alpha made his decision. He sat down in front of Maya, not submitting but also not fighting. It was acceptance. The tension broke like a snapped wire. The Southern pack relaxed their aggressive postures. Scar's pack did the same. Within minutes, stalkers from both groups were cautiously approaching each other, sniffing and communicating. The limping female from the Southern pack approached Maya. The stalker made a soft sound, almost like a question. Maya looked at her med kit, then at the waiting stalker. "You want help?" The female sat and extended her injured leg. "Okay then," Maya said, pulling out supplies. "Let's see what we can do." As Maya worked on the stalker's leg, more of the Southern pack approached. They were curious about the humans, about the colony, about this strange new arrangement. By the time the sun reached its peak, something impossible had happened. Both stalker packs were resting together near the agricultural dome. Humans moved among them, offering food and medical care. Children from the colony, who should have been terrified, were playing near the stalkers under careful supervision. Commander Vrextal approached Maya. His scales showing colors she had learned meant confusion. "You just prevented a territorial war by offering food and medicine." "And friendship," Maya added. "Don't forget friendship." "Your species," Vrextal said slowly, "sees a dangerous predator and thinks, 'Can I pet it?' This is madness." "Maybe," Maya agreed. "But it's our madness. And it works." Dr. Estrin was recording everything frantically. "This will revolutionize xenobiology. Pack integration across territorial boundaries facilitated by a neutral third species. It should not be possible." "But it is possible," Robert said, watching Scout play with a Southern pack juvenile. "Because humans don't see territories or boundaries the same way. We see individuals who might need help." Over the next weeks, the integrated pack became normal. The Southern Alpha, who Maya named Shadow, spent more time near the colony. His pack learned the boundaries that Scar's pack already knew. Don't enter the living quarters. Don't hunt near the water supply. Don't approach colonists who show fear. In return, the colony built shelters at the forest edge for when storms came. They set up medical stations. They shared food when hunting was poor. Maya was promoted, though she still felt like just a recruit. Her new title was Xenobiological Relations Officer, which was fancy words for human who talks to giant predators. One evening, as Maya sat with both pack alphas resting nearby, Apex pressed against her side, she realized something important. She wasn't just a soldier anymore. She was a bridge between species. She had shown that coexistence was possible, that friendship could cross boundaries that seemed impossible. "What are you thinking about?" Roberts asked, joining her. "I'm thinking that we accidentally solved a problem no one knew could be solved," Maya said. "The Coalition has been trying to manage dangerous species through elimination or avoidance. But humans just walked up and said, 'Hey, want to be friends?' And it worked," Robert said. "It worked," Maya agreed. Above them, the stars were coming out. The same stars that humans had dreamed about for thousands of years. The same stars that had called them into space. Maya had dreamed of exploring alien worlds, of seeing incredible things. She had done that. But she had also done something more. She had shown that humanity's gift to the galaxy wasn't just their technology or their adaptability. It was their ability to see family everywhere they looked. 6 months after the Southern Pack integration, Maya stood in the colony's main conference room facing 3 Coalition dignitaries. Apex lay at her feet, his bulk taking up half the room. The dignitaries kept glancing at him nervously. Specialist Chen, the lead dignitary, a Vrexian named Corthex, began. "We have reviewed your reports extensively. The integration of human colonists with Shade Stalker packs is unprecedented in Coalition history." "Thank you, sir," Maya said, trying to sound professional. Outside the window, she could see 2 human children playing chase with a juvenile stalker, while their parents watched without fear. "It is not a compliment," Corthex said sharply. "It is a statement of fact. You have created a diplomatic situation that the Council does not know how to classify. Are the stalkers citizens? Allies, protected fauna? Weapons?" "They're friends," Maya said simply. "Friends." Corthex's scales shifted to a color that indicated frustration. "Specialist, 17 humans have now bonded with stalkers on this colony alone. We are receiving reports from 4 other human colony worlds of similar bonding incidents with apex predators. This is becoming a pattern." Maya felt a flutter of excitement. "Other colonies are bonding too?" "A human colony on Arcturus 4 has befriended what they call sky sharks. Aerial predators that were classified as extinction-level threats, a Keltorian dignitary read from a report. On Proxima B, humans have integrated with pack hunters called razorbacks that have killed 23 colonists from other species. And on New Terra, a human child has bonded with something called a void worm that eats metal. That's amazing, Maya said. That's terrifying, Korthek snapped. Your species has been in the coalition for less than 10 years, and you are rewriting every protocol we have for dangerous xenofauna. How do you do this? Maya thought about how to answer. She looked down at Apex, who gazed back at her with trust and affection. She thought about that first day in the sinkhole when she chose compassion over fear. I think it's because we see ourselves in them, Maya said slowly. When I looked at Apex that first time, I didn't see a monster. I saw a scared, hurt creature that needed help. That's just what humans do. We've been doing it for thousands of years on Earth. But these are apex predators, the third dignitary, a Thasian, protested. They should not be capable of cross-species bonding. The biological barriers alone should prevent it. Dr. Estrin, who had been silent until now, spoke up. My research suggests that humans emit a unique combination of pheromones and emotional signals that many predator species interpret as pack leadership markers. Additionally, human behavior patterns, protection of injured, sharing of resources, vocal communication, match pack bonding rituals across multiple species. You are saying humans are biologically designed to make friends with predators? Korthex asked. I am saying that humans evolved as persistence hunters who used cooperation and tool-making as primary survival strategies, Esatrin explained. They learned to work with other species as force multipliers. Dogs helped them hunt. Horses carried them. Cats protected their food stores. This behavior is deeply rooted in human psychology. They cannot help themselves. They see a creature in need and their instinct is to help it even if that creature could kill them. The room fell silent. Maya could hear the sounds of the colony outside. Laughter, footsteps, and the distinctive chirping of stalkers communicating with each other. This is all very fascinating, Korthex said finally, but it does not solve our problem. Specialist Chen, the Council has requested your presence on New Olympus. There is a situation with indigenous species there that has resulted in 37 deaths. The colony is preparing to authorize lethal force. Maya felt her heart sink. What kind of species? Large flying creatures. The colonists call them sky dragons. They are highly intelligent and extremely territorial. We have lost 3 ships trying to study them. Maya looked at Apex. The stalker had been resting, but now his eyes were open and alert. It was like he knew something important was being discussed. You want me to try to befriend them, Maya said. The coalition wants to avoid another extinction event, Korthex corrected. If your methods can work on New Olympus, it will set a precedent for future colonies. However, this is voluntary. The sky dragons are significantly more dangerous than shade stalkers. The risk is substantial. Maya thought about saying no. She had earned a quiet life here on Kepler 442b. She had her pack, her friends, a place where she belonged. She could stay here and be safe. But then she thought about those sky dragons facing extinction because they were misunderstood. Just like the stalkers had been. I'll go, Maya said, but Apex comes with me. Apex stood up and pressed against her side, making a sound of agreement. Korthex looked like he wanted to argue but thought better of it. Very well. You will depart in 3 days. Select 5 other humans to accompany you, preferably those with bonded stalkers. The meeting ended and Maya walked outside into the colony's main square. The change over 6 months was remarkable. Where there had once been fear and weapons, there was now cooperation. Stalkers rested in the shade near colonists. Children played safely under the watch of both human guards and pack protectors. Roberts found her near the fountain. Scout was with him as always, I heard, Roberts said. New Olympus. Sky dragons. Someone has to try, Maya said. Damn right, Roberts agreed. And I'm coming with you. Scout too. Over the next days, Maya assembled her team. 5 humans, 5 bonded stalkers, and more volunteers than she could accept. Everyone wanted to be part of first contact with a new species. The night before departure, Maya stood at the colony perimeter one last time. Both stalker packs had gathered. Scar and Shadow sat on either side of her, with Apex in front. The whole pack had come to say goodbye. I'll come back, Maya promised them. This is home. Scar made a sound that Maya had learned meant always pack. Shadow added his own call, deeper and more resonant. The stalkers understood. Maya was leaving to help others, but she would return, because that's what pack meant. You protected each other wherever you were. Commander Vrextal approached, his scales showing colors of respect. I was wrong about you, Human Chen. I thought you were just a reckless recruit. I did not understand that your recklessness is actually your greatest strength. Thank you, sir, Maya said. The galaxy is about to learn what humanity truly is, Vrextal continued. Not conquerors, not warriors, but something perhaps more powerful. You are bridge builders. You are friend makers. You see a dangerous creature and think, can we understand each other? This may be humanity's greatest gift to the Coalition. The next morning, Maya boarded the transport with her team. Apex settled into the specially designed cargo area, calm despite the new environment. The other bonded stalkers did the same, trusting their humans completely. As the ship lifted off, Maya watched Kepler 442b grow smaller below them. She could see the colony, the forest, the places where everything had changed. She had arrived as a nervous recruit, unsure of her place in the galaxy. She was leaving as something more, a bridge between species, a voice for the misunderstood. A human who had proven that friendship could cross any barrier. The journey to New Olympus would take 2 weeks. Maya spent the time preparing, studying everything available about sky dragons. They were massive with wingspans of 15 meters. They had intelligence markers comparable to dolphins. They communicated through bioluminescent patterns on their scales, and they were beautiful. When the ship entered orbit around New Olympus, Maya stood at the viewport and watched the creatures fly. They soared through the planet's thick atmosphere like living art, their scales catching sunlight and throwing rainbows across the clouds. They're going to kill something that magnificent, Roberts said quietly, unless we can find another way. We'll find another way, Maya said with confidence she didn't entirely feel. We always do. The transport descended toward the colony. Maya could see the defensive installations, the weapons arrays pointed at the sky. She could feel the fear that permeated this place, but she had felt that before, back when she first arrived on Kepler 442b. Back when everyone thought the stalkers were just monsters, she had changed that. She could change this too. As the transport touched down, Maya stood with Apex at her side. The sky dragons were out there somewhere in those clouds. They were scared and angry and misunderstood. They needed someone to see past the teeth and claws, someone to offer trust instead of weapons, someone to say, we can be friends. Maya had been just a recruit once, a nervous young soldier who freed a trapped predator because it was the right thing to do. Now she was something else. She was humanity's ambassador to the misunderstood creatures of the galaxy. She was proof that kindness could be as powerful as any weapon. She was the human who made friends with monsters, and the galaxy would never be the same. The transport door opened, and Maya stepped out into a new world, ready to do it all over again. Behind her, Apex followed, loyal and true. Around them, the other bonded humans and stalkers formed a unit that shouldn't exist but did. Somewhere in the clouds above, a sky dragon called out. It sounded like a question. Maya smiled. Let's go say hello,